It's time for Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather, sponsored by Command Family Medicine and John's Heating and Air. Here's your host, meteorologist Abby Dyer.
Well, good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. I know all eyes are on this weather forecast as we head into the weekend, and it's been a doozy to forecast, let me tell you that, because we're going to have vastly different conditions from north to south across the Ozarks, some getting walloped with a whole mixed bag of winter weather, including ice, freezing rain, sleet, snow, and yes, cold rain is in this forecast too. So a little bit of everything as we head into the weekend. Today, though, a dry one, just a cold start. If you're heading out the door right now, 5 a.m. on Friday, we're starting out in the mid-20s. I recommend the thick coat early this morning. We will stay dry through the course of the day today, and temperatures will warm into the upper 30s and low 40s. And then we will see much colder temperatures arrive by the time we get to late in the weekend and the early part of next week. We're going to dive right in for you this morning, though, and get going on this forecast. And we're starting to fine-tune some of the details here as the winter storm draws near. We have dry air in the area today. We're going to be dry through most of the day Saturday for the vast majority of us in the Ozarks. I have to mention there's at least a small chance for some freezing drizzle in our far western counties tomorrow morning. I don't think it's anything that slows you down too much, but keep in mind there's going to be this brief window where temperatures are below freezing. Far western counties, a little bit of drizzle. Yeah, it doesn't take much to make things slick. So watch out for that early on Saturday. I don't think it makes it to the Springfield area or the Highway 65 corridor, but there could be a little bit of freezing drizzle if you're traveling toward Kansas City. You might run into that early tomorrow morning. The main show is going to arrive much later than that, late Saturday night into most of the day on Sunday, and maybe even wrapping up on Monday morning. However, newer model data that's coming in this morning is showing that this storm system may be a little bit faster than first forecasted. So Saturday night through most of the day on Sunday, and then we'll have dry conditions by Monday, but travel could still be a mess for parts of the state of Missouri on Monday morning. That winter storm potential is going to mean that there are already some watches and advisories in place. Cold front came through, and we are now dealing with a cooler air mass on the backside of that. Significant ice, sleet, and snow is in the forecast for some in the Ozarks. This is not true for everybody, though. If you're listening from northern Arkansas to the podcast this morning, congratulations, you just get cold rain. I don't think you're impacted by the winter weather at all. Same goes for the far southern tier of Missouri. I don't think it's going to be a nice day, but you are going to just see cold, rainy, windy conditions. It'll be awful outside, but you don't quite get the treacherous winter weather that our friends up north are going to expect. It's really the I-70 corridor in northern Missouri that gets the best chance at the winter weather and some of the dramatic snowfall and ice totals that you may have been hearing about. What we get in the Ozarks, it's a cold rain for our southwestern counties and the far southern portion of the Ozarks, primarily south of Highway 60. It's a wintry mix for everybody else. We're talking cold rain mixed with freezing rain, mixed with sleet, and yes, some snowfall in there too. Where we start to see the snow primarily take place, that's up along I-70 and north of Highway 54. So that is going to be the best potential for accumulating snowfall in the Ozarks. It's those far northern counties. That's where I'm expecting the snowfall. I'm thinking 1 to 4 inches up along and north of Highway 54. As you get further up into central Missouri, there could easily be some places that get a foot of snow, but I think that's out of our listening area and up in the far northern portion of central Missouri through the I-70 corridor from Kansas City to St. Louis. Eastern Ozarks, big heads up for you folks. I'm talking anywhere from Phelps County back down through Texas County, Dent County, portions of even Shannon County. Icing could be a concern, and maybe high ice totals, more than 1/4 of an inch. And put some wind on top of that. We could be talking about spotty power outages here. Sometimes, honestly, I think the freezing rain is worse than getting a lot of snow because You just can't drive on it at all. No way to get traction. Cars just weren't built to drive on the freezing rain. I think we're going to have a significant amount of that in the eastern and northeastern Ozarks specifically. I think we'll get a little bit here in the Springfield area, but it doesn't look like a lot. And my hope is that we have enough of the cold rain to really kind of wash that out and mean that we see conditions that aren't so bad during the event on Sunday. It's mainly going to be north of Highway 60 that I think we run into some big time travel problems. So I want everyone to prepare for this and move your travel. If you have anything going on Sunday and you live in these areas that I'm talking about, north and east of the Springfield region, that's where the travel is going to be treacherous. St. Louis, Kansas City, central Missouri, and areas along and north of Highway 54, and perhaps down the Highway 63 corridor too in our Missouri counties. That's where I think some of these conditions could be very dicey. Heavy mixed precipitation is possible too. So there could be places that get an inch of sleet, those little ice balls. That's going to make things incredibly slick for a period of time as well. But I think a lot of the highest impacts are going to be areas north of Highway 60. So I want to give you kind of a big heads up on that. There will likely be some places that say, oh, just a cold rain for us. We're disappointed. Well, you got to look at the map, see where you are with that freezing line, and that'll be really important too. On Sunday, check the temperature out your door. I mean, look at your thermometer in your yard, because what you get is going to be different than a mile down the road, and a mile down further than that could get something completely different. These cutoff lines between ice, snow, freezing rain are quite dramatic, and I think will lead to a big range in the type of weather we get across the Ozarks. Plan ahead though for this messy travel. That's my big message to you. It's best to be prepared and then not need it, right? Worst case scenario, you got groceries set for the week next week if today's not your normal shopping day, today or tomorrow. All right, cold temperatures is what everyone can bank on. That's what models have all agreed on through this entire event. We are talking about another aspect of this storm system, and it's that the wind is going to be really high. That's a concern for those power outages on Sunday, but with gusts of 30 miles an hour on top of temperatures in the 20s, yeah, it's going to feel like zero or even sub-zero temperatures by the time we get to Monday morning. So even those places that just get the cold rain, keep in mind, it's going to rain and then the cold temperatures settle in. So we're going to see the rainfall freeze after the fact. So even if you don't get the wintry weather, there could still be dicey travel in southern Missouri on Monday simply because the temperature is so cold. And if the roads are wet, it's going to freeze. We have such cold weather coming in. So this is why this storm is a big deal. Not only is it the winter precip itself, but it is also the extreme cold that settles in behind it. Around the country, there's a lot going on today. We have lingering cold and snow happening for the Great Lakes region, the Appalachians, and much of the Northeast. The Pacific storms continue to impact the Northwest, and our storm system moves inland tonight. That's going to dig out through across the country on Saturday and then land in the Ozarks by Sunday. And we've got that Arctic air mass surging in behind that from the northern plains into the central United States. This is also going to be impacting the East Coast as we head into the weekend and much of next week too. So, wow, is there a lot going on across the country? January and 2025 really starting off on a rather brutal note for many. Here's the around the Ozarks wake up weather brain twister trivia question that I left you with yesterday. Immigrants from what country introduced the New Year baby to the United States? All European countries. Do you think it was A, Germany, B, Italy, C, Ireland, or D, Spain? Well, the answer is A, Germany. And those of you that are saying, hey, wait a minute, the New Year baby is actually traced back to ancient Greece. Yes, you are correct, but it is the Germans that are credited with bringing this popular tradition to us. Yes, the idea of the New Year baby originated in ancient Greece, where it was part of a celebration of the god of fertility and wine. But the Germans used the baby New Year, often depicted as a baby in a hat or a sash, one that you may be familiar with seeing around during these baby New Year stories. In the late 1400s, baby New Year was compared to baby Jesus or a religious figure. Baby New Year is often shown with Father Time. who has passed on the ancient Roman god of time, Saturn. Baby New Year spends the year growing and learning, and then he passes on the wisdom to Father Time on January 1st. So the modern use of Baby New Year became popular at the beginning of the 20th century, often featured on the cover of the Saturday Evening Post as a toddler in a top hat and a sash. That's the one I am familiar with seeing. And of course, we always report, being my background in news, you always heard about the New Year baby, the first baby born in the United States, first baby born in Springfield. I'm told this year, first baby for the Ozarks was born in the Mercy Hospital in Springfield just about a quarter after midnight this year. So congrats to the new parents. All right, here's the question that I'll leave you with for Monday. On average, how fast do snowflakes fall from the sky? See if you can clock them this weekend. Do you think it is A, 1.5 miles per hour, B, 3 miles per hour, C, 4.5 miles an hour, or D, 6 miles an hour? You can let me know your guess. That's at aroundtheozarks.com. I want to thank you for listening this morning. I know it was kind of an extra long podcast, but we had a lot to discuss with all of the variety of winter weather, we'll call it, coming our way this weekend. Encourage everybody to be safe this weekend. If it looks too dicey, just hold off on travel until the temperatures warm up a bit. We're in for a cold snap too, heading our way as we head into the early part of next week. Thanks to Command Family Medicine and John's Heating and Air. I'm meteorologist Abby Dyer. Make sure you check the website aroundtheozarks.com. It'll keep you up to date on all the weather information that you need to know through the weekend. I'll chat with you again early Monday.